Dear God, please protect this relationship. Let time build us, not break us. Let the love we have for each other be stronger than anything that tries to tear us apart. We may not be perfect, but keep us perfect for each other. Amen.
'20 already was a hard year, just for COVID, just for us, our relationship, our marriage. We were in Florida for Little League football championships, man. And, my 10-year-old he just transcended just to another player while he was down there. You just saw that maturation of just what I've been waiting for, just through his training and all of that. And Rhonda had caught a picture of me hugging him in the middle of the field for that last game. It was just a hard year, him playing through COVID and playing on this one team where he just had to do so much. And it just was a hard year. And that hug between him and I on that field in December 2020, it just summed up just how it was between him and I, just as that son-father sports relationship, but just as dad and son. And I sent that picture to my mom, and she texted back and she said, "I'm so proud of the husband and father that you have become to be." And she said, and I love this picture, she said, "But always remember to have balance in your life. You have balance just for yourself and your wife. And make sure you give balance to those kids, especially to Lily." That was the last text I got from my mother. And literally that next week, she was dying of COVID. My mother was healthy, retired professional, medical professional, didn't smoke, didn't drink, wasn't overweight. Just went right through her little bit, 3 or 4 days. When she died, I never cried so hard. I laid across the bed, Rhonda rubbed my back. And I love her for that. I love her for that. Because that for me just was summed up why she's my wife. It's summed up why my mother chose her to be my wife. Why my mother loved her so much, and why they had the relationship they had. That loss, man, is still, I can't shake it. I don't think I ever will be able to shake it. It gets better with each year and month. Last week was her birthday, and my mother was really big on, if you're coming from Brooklyn, you know you better stop at Junior's and get my cheesecake. She said, "I need my cheesecake." So I'm making that a thing where every year I want to make sure that no matter where I'm at in the country, I'm going in Brooklyn on her birthday, on Flatbush Extension, getting her cheesecake. And I miss her, but that was a significant loss. That was the biggest. And then some months later, to have our niece pass away in a car accident. And our niece, she was literally the best friend, cousin and best friend to our daughter. And And for me to get that news at the door in the middle of the night, and then I have to wake up Rhonda and Elijah and tell them.
His mother, I love his mom. Like, we had a very close relationship. And I feel like I don't have any regrets with her and our relationship. Even though she has passed on, I cherish every conversation we've ever had. And she helped me with every conversation we've ever had. I remember on his birthday, we were talking on the phone for like 3 hours, me and her, not him, but me and her. And she always told me about the story when he was born. And she said, yeah, I was so sick when I had Grando. I told him to take that baby and tie my tubes first before I hold him. And I said, that's like crazy, because you ain't holding anything. So we had that type of relationship. And she helped me understand him. She helped me understand who I married, because of all the stories she told me when he was younger as a kid, and us being on the phone for hours talking about how he was raised in the household. Just general conversations, and I cherish those conversations because she helped me understand who I married.
This is where it get good at.
All right, so we experienced some financial loss right around the time of the pandemic, like what, March? It was March, April. April 20.
No, it was February, like March.
Like right when it happened. Craig's job closed completely. It was just shut down, all the way down. It wasn't opening ever again. So everyone was just laid off. And during the pandemic, it's difficult to find work because lots of people were doing layoffs. You know, production is slower. People are going places less. So like everything slowed down so much, which I'm sure everyone is obviously privy to at this point. But then, you know, I didn't have the same problem with the line of work that I'm in. The job will always be open. It'll always be there. There's no shutting down. So with that said, you know, the children were out of school because the daycares and preschools were closed. And then Craig wasn't working. So he stayed home with the children, which prevented us from having to find a sitter for the children or someone to watch them. And, you know, he's home. So there was a convenient part there because the children have to leave the house, especially because they could get sick. And they were very young at the time. Nova was not quite one. She was like 10 or 11 months old at the time when when the pandemic first happened. So I was like, okay, the children can stay home. And I was able to go to work. But when me going to work, I'm working just me by myself and having to kind of cover everything with the exception of unemployment. That ended, what was it, a year?
Yeah.
It was 1 year and then it ended. And with unemployment, it was like, okay, probably.
It took like 7 months to get it.
Oh, it did
Because
take a long
remember,
time.
I had to keep calling.
Yeah, because so many people were laid off. It was like a delay. So that was a barrier. So, it took so long to get the money. It was 7 months, 9 months. It was long.
Like 7 or 8 months.
Yeah, it was long. And then they gave a lump sum. But during the time when there was not 2 incomes in our household, it was hard. And I was frustrated. And, understanding like why it's the way that it is, or, the cause. Eventually, I was worn thin as
I had a credit card.
Debt
Of?
of
Yeah.
too much.
So I did not tell him that I had a credit card. It cost me to drive to Pennsylvania for 3.5 years, $7,800 every year. So I didn't tell him because I couldn't keep up with it. Even though we as one, it was my fault. I should have told him that I was saying that it was my fault.
I know it was your fault.
Okay.
I never said it wasn't your fault. It was your fault.
I never said nothing to him. I was just being good as a wife, paying my bills. I never asked him for nothing. I just paid it every month. Didn't say nothing. Well, this fool refinanced the house. So,
and guess what I found on the refinances? Somebody had over $25,000 in gas charges.
But
nothing.
But I never asked him. I never asked him for money.
But you're not supposed to hide stuff like that.
I didn't hide.
Oh, you hid it.
I did not
You
hide
hid
to
that. $25,000 is a lot of hiding.
I was paying it off when we moved.
You will
back
never pay off a
Pennsylvania.
$25,000 gas card.
So he hollered at me like he was my daddy that day when he hollered at me. And it was so funny. So we refinanced the house. He told me to go pay it.
How did you pay it?
You told me to go get a loan and pay it off.
Okay.
You did not pay it, but you made me go to get a loan and paid it off. And then he did
Why did I not repay it?
because it was not your responsibility.
Why did I not repay it?
Because you did it before.
Thank you.
Frustrated because money on my side wasn't coming in. I'm home with the kids. They like give me 101 things to do, which is fine. But you know, sometimes when you go to work, that's like your place of peace. So when I was home, lost your job, pandemic hit, can't get no unemployment. You gotta keep calling. Kids is like frustrating. You want to go out there and work, but you can't do nothing because of what's going on. And that had us go at it. That had us go at it
I
because
was so done.
it was more so me thinking like a man, like, damn, I'm not doing nothing. Like, I'm just sitting around feeling like a bum. And I'm looking at my kids, I'm looking at my girlfriend. I'm just like, damn, like, this ain't supposed to be life, you know? And I'm just like frustrated. And I'm overthinking my thoughts in my head. She don't understand what I'm going through because she going to work or she working from home. So she's still interacting with people. Me, I'm interacting with kids, you know, like
The best kids.
the best kids. But I'm just saying though, at the end of the day, I don't want to keep watching Sesame Street all day. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't leave out the house. And then when I talked to you, you had a 10 because of what's going on and things ain't working out for me and we missing each other. And that was a crazy time.
It was hard.
It was
awful.
crazy time because it was like, I think that was that one time. I think, to be honest, I think that was like the one time that we probably really couldn't stand each other.
I just want us to be comfortable. I want us to be that older couple that we can get up, do like what we do. We love our Starbucks. We can go have our Starbucks coffee. I can check the stocks, check on the investments, and we can come home, maybe go to the mall, we boss them around a little bit, we come home, have a nap, and go have lunch, and then figure out what we're gonna do for dinner in the evening. That's why I look at our evenings for us being comfortable. I don't want to be one of these older couples where we're stressing about, just like the other day. I mean, our water heater went in the home. We didn't stress about it. We had to get done. I want us to be that same way when we get older. I don't want us to be too pennies.
Finances was a big thing, David can be financially irresponsible, whereas me, I have everything written out to a T. Like, this is due this day. Like even now, it took a long time for me to like really dig deep. Like, David, give me all the bills. Like, let's have one joint account and let's have, we keep our separate. Whatever the house needs, we'll total up the amount of bills and extra for food, and we both put into the joint account. And then literally every month, I write down everything and I just let him know, like, this is coming out, and it's been working. But before that, when he wouldn't just, give it up, it wasn't working. And we always say, like, sometimes you gotta know what works for you and what doesn't. And like numbers, I'm just good with numbers and doing all of that stuff.
And then, he's also very secretive. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. And I'm like, what you mean don't tell nobody? I might need to ask somebody for a couple dollars. I'm gonna tell somebody something. But there was like, a pride aspect. And I'm like, child, if you don't put that pride in your back pocket and know when you need to acknowledge when you need help and reach out to your village. And he was like, I don't want people to know. And I'm like, even in the house talking about it, he started whispering. I'm like, what you whispering for? Like, Who listening? You need to not whisper and speak out loud because some stuff will need to get paid up in here.
Tell you what he did.
You're damn right.
He did. He did. What is that called?
I monitor your credit.
He did a credit thing on me that I
monitor-
can't have nothing on
I
my
monitor your
credit
credit
report.
now. I know
Now,
what's
this
going
sister
on.
right here, make sure she use her credit card and I got paid off at the end of the month so he don't know what I'm doing.
Trust me, if it gets back to $25,000, we got an issue.
I was really frustrated. So that was difficult for me. It was difficult for us. And I think I was like at the wit's end, like, arguing a lot. And that's another thing I'm not too fond of. Like a lot of like arguing back and forth. The relationship, like I said before, it was easy and it was fun.
And then
he
real
was
life,
nice
and then like real life,
to
we
me.
had
Now you're
kids.
frustrated. You got an attitude. You walk around with your face balled up, like I invented COVID. Like, first of all, check your attitude. So like, but that's how, and I, because of where we were,
I was
and
only
we were
working
bickering a lot.
because of the pandemic,
Right, but
though. So why was you not
I
free because of the
lost sight.
pandemic?
I lost sight of like
Oh.
my kindness out the door, empathy out the door, understanding out the door. I don't
So
care
you
how
wasn't
many
thinking straight.
people died about the pandemic, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I'm like, what's happening up in here in this house can't happen to me. That's not what happens here. And he felt the same way, but what you gonna do about it? Have an attitude? Like, come up with a solution.
How we gonna come up with a solution? Like I sit here and watch our children.
Listen, it was a pandemic and we were short on cash. I bet you one thing. I was in the room because I was working from home, and I was like, I'm about to look, this is about to be over. Like, I'm done with this. I'm done because this is not what I signed up for. And if it's gonna be difficult, I'm not fixing to be here. So I was emailed, I looked for like therapists, and I came across one. And as tight as I was on the fund, and as much as I was pinching my penny and making sure everything was taken care of as best I could, I made sure that I come up with the copay for this therapy that I felt like we needed, and we were doing weekly sessions because I was literally at the end.
There has to be somebody who's frugal with the money. I got to make sure to put money away because somebody will spend it.
It's in my account. I have enough
And
money.
I think when you first get in a relationship, one of those things that you should be talking about is finances. And a lot of new couples, I don't know if they're looking at that, because I know when I first got married, we never looked at it.
No, we did not.
We never looked at finances.
We went one time.
I think a lot of it, the financial stuff, I think plays a bigger part in our relationship, and I think it also ties into communication as well. Because when finances do get a little murky, if you guys aren't that great at communicating, it's going to make it even harder to talk about money. And money is probably the number one hardest thing to talk about in a relationship, because even if both parties make the same, and if one party makes more, or whoever it may be, then it becomes even harder to talk about, because people, sometimes people feel like that if you are doing irresponsible things, you're messing up my money, even though it went from yours and mine to ours. It's like you're messing up my money. And I think that I think finances are a major thing. Obviously, is the number one reason why people do separate. But I think that's because it's bad communication within it, and I think it's that not being on the level playing field, regardless of if you make 100,000 and I make 50, then we make 150. So I think that part is trying to grasp that, like, there is no you make this, I make this. This is what we have, and we're not in competition with each other. And I think sometimes subconsciously comes in, and then it comes out in conversation, it comes out in arguments, it comes out when things aren't going right.
Me, I'm really big on that. If I just pay credit card bills and my available credit is not at least enough to feel comfortable, we ain't going. We got food in the refrigerator, the cable's on, the heater's on. What's the problem? You know what I mean? I don't know. See, it's just I'm gonna be open. It's that old hustler mentality in me, okay? I'm gonna be honest. Younger hustler. And one of them guys walking around big wads of cash in my pocket, being able to whenever. And now being older, now being, of course, a career person, being married. Now it's you all about budgets and all about, you know, you have this coming in and that's going out, and you have to budget accordingly. And I'm
You
just,
still learning the budget thing. You still trying to figure that out.
But this is why I sleep on the go.
For me, I'm basically like this. Don't overexert yourself. If you don't make the money, don't try to go out there and spend it. And that's the problem with my wife. She'll just want to spend.
She like saved everything because it was just like when she said, "Let's go to therapy," I was just like, "All right."
It was like therapy or get out.
Whatever.
Know?
So we did it, and it like brought us together.
How long? It was like a year and a half.
Wasn't that damn long.
Oh, I felt long. Maybe because we've done it every
It
week.
wasn't that damn long. It was probably like a year.
All right,
like a good like 10 months.
All right, but it was weekly.
Weekly, yeah. We needed her weekly.
It was weekly.
We
for a
needed her
long
weekly.
time.
We needed
And
her every
sometimes we
day.
didn't even want. We had to do it. You know, we had to do it on Skype or Zoom because we don't have in-person business because of the pandemic. But sometimes, honestly, I'd be like, let me do this therapy because I said I was gonna try this, but like, I really just want you to just go ahead because I didn't like him anymore. I just felt like he was just like, you know, letting me down.
From nothing to some. We ain't have a chance to transition, to be honest with you. She decided off the rip she wanted to, so I ain't have a choice. You know, it was rough, I ain't gonna lie. That was hard, it was rough. Look, she was on bed rest at 3 months. Bed rest.
5 months. 5 months.
All right, look, it's all the same.
It's all cloudy.
All right.
It's all cloudy.
At 5 months, she stopped working and couldn't leave the house. All right, that was our first introduction to kids. And then for the next year, I ain't sleep. I was working 2 jobs, making sure she was all right. Then when the kids came, I had to work the 2 jobs. Then as soon as I got home, she dropped them right in my face. Here you go. They was with her all day. Now you take the night shift. So, I mean, 10 years later, it's good. But I mean, to be honest with you, I tell all the time, I don't remember the first couple of years. I blacked out so much. But, you know, look, it's teamwork make the dream work. I can tell you that. We had a great team. Her, me, our families, friends, everybody. Our village helped. So it was a hard transition, but it wasn't because we had help. I can't even hold you. Our village was amazing. So
your kids are your legacy. That's the way I look at it. When you have kids, it's not about you anymore. That was one of my mom's most biggest lines. It's not about you anymore. So whatever you have them involved in, whatever comes in regards to school, extracurricular activities, when you need to have that emotional time with them, when you're trying to work them through something emotionally or mentally that they may be going through, no, you have to work your schedule around your kids. But however, this is important as well also. That's not to say, oh, she's gonna be there, but the kids are just as important. And that's why we have so many that going back to that broken home, because kids feel neglected with the parents. So many parents are outdoing them that they're not focusing on the kids and their emotional well-being.
You know, how can we come together to figure out what's best for our children? So like that, it can be very tough. It can be very tough. I mean, even till today, like, you know, a lot of things. I'm mommy, so I'm like, oh, I just want to hug you sometimes. But dad is like, with them boys, you can't really tell him too much about how he gonna be with them boys. So, yeah, it's the day by day when the kids become involved, it is, woo, it's a lot. But big words when it comes to infidelity: ego and self-love. Okay, on both sides. Another part of that is immaturity. Okay, so self-love is a big one because it's just like it may not have anything to do with the other partner. Like your partner is like whatever void you're trying to fill within yourself because you don't love yourself enough. You know what I'm saying? It may not have none, and I think a lot of that has to do with whatever happened between you and I, because it may not have anything to do with the marriage. It's more so like individual. Like, what am I missing? What is lacking within me? And I'm trying to get it outside because that outside person really don't know me. Okay? She know me. She know what's up in my household, my wife. But that other person, so I can kind of say stuff and I can kind of, okay?
I mean, as unfortunate it is, it's only one-sided. It's never came from her side. It's always kind of been me. It's not always kind of, it's been me, always. I mean, in the beginning, just like I said, transitioning from being a bachelor to now automatic family man was an adjustment in so many levels. At that point in time, none of my friends were married. So me and my friends did what non-married people do, which is not okay when you are in a committed relationship. So that was a struggle in the beginning, and going through those things and arguments and fights and all kinds of things. Phones thrown at me, all types of crazy things that have happened, and waking up out here, it's like, what is going on? Like, but and then also just I mean, I don't know, it's been a lot. More than it should have been, obviously, to get to where we're at now.
Yeah, I didn't think we would make it this far.
No, I didn't think so either. Even though I knew that the reason why we wouldn't would be me, because I'm not doing the things that I am supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. Which staying faithful is not the end all be all of staying in a relationship, but it's one of the major things that can make or break a relationship.
And even, it's so crazy, you can be with somebody and even like when they cheat on you and cause like so much pain, like a part of you still loves and hurts for them. Like, I never forget 2018, no one had no idea. Me and him separated, I moved back in with my parents, he was living on his own, I was living on my own. And I remember him just still trying to like hold that peace with me and the kids, and he showed up on my mom's porch, and I remember coming to the door and I was like, don't come back around here no more. Like, if this is it, like, let me move on. So I think his wheels started spinning, so we got back together. And then I found out from others that he was possibly going to have a baby on the way. And when I confronted him about it, like, even though I was in such a fit of rage, like in my head I was seeing red, like I wanted to kill him. Seeing him hurt like that, like seeing, him broken and hurt and everything, like a small piece of me, or maybe more than a small piece of me, like felt for him. And he was like, can you please just help me figure this out? So I told him, you need to call your mom, you need to call your sister, and you need some help.
And then the other part of it is, it's like, okay, oh, I'm not getting that from her, so I need to get it from that other person. But I'm trying to fill a void. You know what I mean? I'm trying to compensate for what's I'm feeling that's not already there. And so that's what I got from what we have gone through over the years. And just when it's like triggers or precursors to some things that you might see when you've been with somebody for so many years, it's like, okay, let's stop right here. Let's check in. What's up? What's going on? Because I'm not trying to go down that road. So I want to nip it in the bud. What's going on? Know that my spidey senses are up, so I know what's, because we've been here. So what's going on? Let's talk about it. Let's try to figure this out. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now.
It would be to take the full inventory of it all. Take the full inventory of it all. Because it's not just the money aspect. It's not just that monetary part of what you be losing if you lose everything. It's the emotional. It's the mental part. I mean, listen, I can let my ego down enough to know that I don't know what I would do without her. I am that husband. I'm very hands-on with a lot of things running our household. But that mental aspect, emotional aspect of not knowing what I would do if she was not here anymore, that's a hard pill to swallow. And I don't want to swallow that pill at all. At all.
I said it on our wedding day, is that I think that us being together is some level of fate, because from day one, realistically, a lot of things had to work out in a weird way for us to even be where we're at now. Like, if I mean, we talked about that love story in the beginning, but if I would have had practice for this semi-pro team, I would have never went to her friend's shop. Her friend would have never said anything to me. I would have never got a number. I would have never talked to her. So then we would have never been here 10 years later. So I feel like even though through a lot of the things, I think that's something, you know, like out of our control has kept us, even through a lot of my nonsense, has kept us and got us to this point.
And prayer help.
Like in 2013, 14, it's so clear to me. My husband is a person that is content, don't like change. And I am not that type of person. I like doing stuff. I like going out in the world, you know, chilling out. But my husband,
I'm content at home.
you're content at home. So he started,
I didn't start it.
no, he did nothing. And I had to start doing stuff, like challenging him, like, you can't just stay home and you're gonna keep me just staying home. I'm not a home person. I like going somewhere. I like doing stuff. So in 2013, 14 was rough for me.
One word for me.
Not for him, but for me it was.
I didn't see an issue.
No, he never saw nothing. But I think he started changing, or started listening to what I was saying, and then it changed in 2015, 16, and definitely it changed when we had COVID.
Now he's a present thinker, and I'm a future thinker, okay? And I don't know if you noticed a lot that I talk about retirement a lot. And so we are getting older, we're in our 40s, so we kind of need to talk about that. But okay, so, but like, again, like we mentioned, 22-year-old, 14, and 10. Before you know it, our 10-year-old is going to be in middle school and then high school, and it's going to go just like that. He's going to be in college in, what, 8 years, 7 years, something like that. So it's like, you doing, I understand the schedule, I get everything he just mentioned, but it's like, you don't want the kids to be out of the house or in college or whatever, and we're just sitting around looking at each other like, okay, I don't know who you are. I don't know how to, you know what I mean? Because we've been revolving everything around the kids and not spending time together, and then they're out of the house and I'm looking at you like,
That's fair.
So children, like, that was a rough time too, when we got empty nester and all the children are out the house and it was just me and him. And I was like, what am I gonna do with this man? Oh my God. I don't have no kids that I can take shopping with me and all that stuff. So I had to do this stuff, start like liking him again. Like, it was always about the kids, but I had to start liking you. Boy, that was rough, but we got it.
We got it.
Excuse me, I got it.
Yeah, you the issue.
I did. It was.
You were the damn issue.
You know, about that with myself, I am very bad on balance. I can admit my faults with that. When I go hard, I go hard. And in too many aspects over the course of our marriage, what gets neglected is her. And so I'm learning at 15, going on 15 years of marriage, that I have to put the extra effort, the more time, to even just having the small conversations with her, checking in on her. I'm still learning, and it's a forever learning thing. And I can't give just one answer on how do we balance it. It's, you keep learning. You keep learning, because everything changes so much that you have to learn how to conform differently. to make it work. So even when we leave from doing this, we're going to try to do something. We're going to try to have some drinks and sit down and just have Yarnell around the time.